Hello guys, can you hear me? Hey. Okay, so I have some miniatures to show before the stream. So I have a few owls and they are not in focus. So, oh yeah, okay, got the focus. So I have a few owls and I will do the introduction about like the premise of the workshop, stuff like that, because today we have a workshop, workshop feedback stream. So hey Jim, hey Sebastian, hey Paweł, hey all. 3 weeks ago, I think, I did a workshop in Cracow. It was a 2-day workshop about painting non-metallic metal. And today I decided to make a stream about giving feedback to people from this workshop because I consider non-metallic metal as one of the harder topics to teach people to paint, and I just wanted to offer like one more line of feedback people could get from me from those workshops. In general, I personally enjoyed those workshops a lot. I hope that people did too, of course. And I was very, very proud of my group, basically. So they did, in my opinion, very, very well. During those workshops, I tried to approach the topic of non-metallic metal, not like a list of stuff you have to do, but I wanted to encourage people to work more from references, just think about how reflections may actually show on the different areas and different shapes, and try to translate it on your miniature. Hey Kujo, nice to see you here. And it was kind of experimental way to do the stuff because I consider non-metallic metal to be actually very technical painting, but also in a way it's very fluid, and very like I know for me personally it's like a treat yourself time. So I like to take my time, you know, see how it flows, where it goes, where I can add reflections and how to create those organic reflections. And I kind of wanted to translate to people or explain to people how to approach painting non-metallic metal this way. So how to add and layer those reflections and how to contrast, because actually contrast is very important in non-metallic metal. So no recipes, no repetition, like step after step what you have to do to paint the non-metallic metal, but everyone had the task to paint on their own. Hey Nev. So I think that the result of those workshops was pretty creative, and I will show some pictures in a second. I will just give you some time to gather. Okay, and we have 30 seconds before ads, so go watch some ads and I will start showing, hey guys, hey team, I will start showing some miniatures in a second. Like I will start maybe with this one from this weekend actually. Just wanted to share a little bit. And yeah, so we have 3 minutes for ads, and then then we will talk a little bit more and show a little bit of miniatures. Oh yeah, you changed your name actually. I didn't notice that. Okay, so I will just we have 3 minutes break. I will just do a quick showcase of this little vignette I did on the workshop, and I will repeat it again after 3 minutes for people who are missing it. And I don't know what is going on with this camera today, but I have the lighting is very, very bad for me. So, oh yeah, this works better, I think. It's a very fun idea, honestly. Yeah, it's overexposed. I don't know why. Usually it's okay. I don't know. Maybe let me try. We have 3 minutes anyway, so I can try to make it work better. But how to make it work? This is the never-ending question. White balance, maybe? How to remove the overexposed element on my camera, guys? Can you use my camera instead of me? Looks like to high ISO. I have no idea how to change ISO on my camera. This? Okay, I changed the ISO, but I don't think that there is any difference. Maybe white background or light brown background. Sometimes it helps, I think. Oh yeah, this is better. Okay, so this is our background for today. Oops. Okay. Now it's a little bit too dark. it never can be perfect, right? Yeah, come to Nova, Jim. Everyone come to Nova. I'm doing some classes there. I think that if anyone is interested in my classes and like placed in US, there is one more place for my, I think, holographic classes on Nova Open. Yes, cameras are a nightmare and I hate them. Where are you from, Jim? It's Nova is far from me too, but I will be there. Okay, so it's actually closer to, like, come to my workshops in London, or to the beer after party, which should happen on Saturday after the first day of workshops, because I usually after the first day of workshops I tend to go for a beer with people, so you can just come to the beer and hang out. Okay, we have 30 seconds of that. Okay, so that's why I took your class over Eric's cast shadow, which was same day. Eric is the same country as me. In theory, it will be easier for me to catch Eric for a class. Yeah, I can agree, but also thank you for picking my class. It's very, very nice. I think that Eric might be doing like some maybe classes at Verkos Vault even in Las Vegas or something. Because Verkos Vault, they are from Las Vegas. If nobody didn't heard about Verkos Vault, there is this museum that will happen in Las Vegas, and they have their big own place, and they started doing some classes and workshops, stuff like that. So if you are looking for a nice place to meet artists from all around the world, just check out Verkos Vault, and they are having everyone there. 16,000 display miniatures. I think I am going to plan a Vegas trip at some point just to go see the vault, even though I have 0 other reasons to go. Yeah, honestly, if I was to go to the US, I would go anywhere else than Las Vegas, but the vault is the only reason I want to go there. Okay, so I started doing talking about biggest dioramas. I've heard that there was one diorama made in New Zealand, I suppose, and Peter Jackson was actually supporting the act of creating this biggest diorama, and it was actually a recreation of some kind of battle. And I didn't even know that Peter Jackson is that much into the miniatures. Yeah, so and there was like 10,000 miniatures there, if I remember correctly. So yeah, this little, something interesting. Okay, so this is a vignette I did during this weekend, and I'm pretty happy about it. I want to paint it a little bit more because the painting is not that perfect, and also like my job during this weekend was to show how to paint and stuff, and like guide people through the painting and consult and stuff like that, so I didn't spend that much time painting, but I wanted to create a casted shadow workshop, and we did something like that. Everyone did like different shadows. There were two people who were painting alternative miniature, and it's a necromancer from White Werewolf Tavern, and they actually did like the skeleton cutout and the skeleton shadow casted on the wall behind the miniature, and it was just great. Hey Hogata. So this is, I just wanted to share it, something I did, and some of the texture on the wall is like sculpted. Like by sculpted I mean I just took a X-Acto knife and just, you know, like kinda did the swiping move with my X-Acto knife through it and just created like those indentations. And this over here and this is just painted over to like mimic those shapes. And repeat it. So I wanted to show people how to create the texture on a flat surface to make it like more realistic, even though everything is flat. Yeah, so this is from like this last weekend workshops. I will finish this one, but in a comics. Oh shit. Okay, I just broke it. Happens. Okay. The composition suddenly got much easier, much simpler. Okay, so I will finish it, also fix it, and I will post it. I don't feel the big pressure to blend everything because I want to keep it in this cartoony style. Also, the miniature is from Bold Miniatures, very, very cool. Someday I will have to bug you about teaching me water drops. Yeah, I need to like. I want to do like 2 materials for my Patreon this month because I didn't have the time to do a material for the last month, so I can do a water droplets instruction. It's very, very, very easy actually. Yeah, so I can do that if you want, guys. And so this is the topic from the last workshops, and for the workshop on the owls, and see now it's too dark. Jesus, it's so hard to make it nice and make it work. Okay, so we have different kind of owls, right? In general, different kind of non-metallic metal. This is box art I'm in the process of painting. This is box art painted by Maciej Kotliński. We commissioned him to paint a box art for us, and he's a very talented painter, friend of us. I mean, by us, I mean Awesome Creations. And this is the alternative version of the Owl Knight. I was trying to paint, I think that during the last workshop, actually in Cracow, I painted a few of those because I did like 3 workshops on the owl already, and I'm just repeating the same color scheme because it just works for me. So the premise for the owl workshop was to teach how to paint metallic by like reflective surfaces. To short the whole ideology, I will just say non-metallic metal, though I do not agree with the non-metallic metal being a technique in miniature painting. Yeah, it does feel good when someone likes your someone you actually know likes your Instagram posts. So premise for this workshop was to teach people how to paint like non-metallic metal, but in like this more holistic approach. And by holistic, I mean to show the process and to show people that it's not that scary to actually paint nice non-metallic metal, because good non-metallic metal is actually just, I don't know, a bunch of nice reflections painted in very contrasted way if you want the metal to be reflective and shiny. And it's not that scary actually, it's very, very easy. You just need to try to adhere to some, let's call it like rules or like general painting knowledge. So yes, so this was the plan. This is my like blueprint for my owl workshops. So I showed painting on steel or like just silver reflective, and then I have this kind of purple magenta cloak, I like to do bluish gems. I sometimes do one in blue, one in like red or magenta. This part is gold because I like to demonstrate how to paint gold, how and which paints are good for not overly saturated and not overly yellow gold. And then the head is whatever anyone wants to paint. And also, like, this is my blueprint for painting. So I told people that if you want to paint anything else, paint whatever you want. This is the easiest painting scheme if you want to practice on my workshops. So everyone can do whatever he wants when it goes to creativity. My job is to guide him through the process, but picking this kind of color scheme makes the whole workshop easier for the person and for me, because I don't have to explain like 5 things. I just need to explain one thing. But nevertheless, if someone would pick painting copper, I would try to guide him into painting copper, right? But it may be complicated because actually copper is more complicated, like when it goes to the right color matching, stuff like that. And I told everyone that the easiest and most logical is painting silver/steel metallics as the general color on the armor, then painting everything gold, and then everything else. So my advice for the students was to, if you are not very experienced, pick this kind of color scheme. If you are more experienced, you can do whatever else you want. Yes, it's Conor Shannery on Instagram, Maciej Kotliński. I just got an idea for my owl. Once I get one, maybe I'll need 2. You need 3. Yes, Maciej did very good job on the Neko Galaxy box art of like this traveler. So yeah, this was the premise. Everyone could, and my logic with creating like this bust, because I designed this bust, was to be the main topic non-metallic metal. So we have some armor with some shapes. Some of them are more basic. So for example, like medallions over here. Some of them are more complex. So for example, like this breastplate over here, it's divided into like those 2 surfaces. This over here as well, and this. And I wanted to, have some easier areas and some more complicated areas. Then for people who wanted to, and a good non-metallic metal practice academic bust is not like 100% non-metallic metal, because painting everything in metallic, which is a very complicated topic, may be tiring for someone. That's why I got some of the elements in metal, and then I have nice owl head. That in my opinion a lot of people just want to play with and paint something cool there. So this is the relaxation area for the workshop. And then the cloak, where I created like those very deep indentations for maybe people to get easier access when painting some kind of designs, freehands, whatever. And then we have those round areas over here, and I wanted to show how to paint the gems on them. Hey Malta. Yeah, I have and also there is an alternative version of the head, which is a hand, but I tell people that the hand version is much more complicated. And if you don't want to, like, if you want to practice and you want to not overbury yourself during the workshops, take the owl head. And I actually didn't glue it. It's glued on blue tack during the workshops, and you can turn it however you want. So I decided that everyone can kinda change the owl. You can even glue it like that, because owls can turn their heads a lot. And everyone can change it. If you want, you can switch the helms for the owl head, stuff like that. So this was the premise for the workshops, right? And this is the end effect. Give me a second, I will pull up the photo. This is the end effect, and this is how everyone painted their copies. Okay, got it. Okay, whatever. This is how everyone painted their copies, and I really liked the different versions, and I was very proud of this class. I have to say that I did very bad job with taking this picture, because I don't know why. I think that I was just, you know, tired after 2 days. I don't know why I placed them like this, and I should have like turned them a little bit so the arm plates would be in front, because that was the main topic, right? And I really liked how each version is slightly different and how all of them turned out. And in general, you know, they had one instructor and everything was shared, but everyone did a good job on their own and tried to do something, you know, individual. So over here you can see like this one is more tarnished and more bumpy. This one had the owl head actually, like the hand actually, and big props for picking that one, because it was a very complicated one to you know, get a grasp on. Here we have the checkerboard owl, and this was actually painting during the workshop, and big props for like making it in time. Like this one is very cool with the like war paint on the face. This one is very crazy. You will see it today, because some of my students decided to send their work, some of them didn't. It's totally okay, but I don't have all of them for feedback today. And so yeah, this is the owls, and the whole group of 12 people, I think. Here you can see 11 owls plus mine over here, because one person had to leave after 1 day. But more or less this is like the whole group. And here is the actual group, right? And big props for Cracow, because we had like seven proud and beautiful women in the workshop, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 plus me, so 8 in one room. 8 women painting miniatures in one room, in one basement. We can do it. Yeah, it was great. And so this is the class. Hey guys, it was very nice. I spent very nice time together. And this is, okay, I will maybe close my Discord and my everything else, and I will just go into the feedback. So now we have the feedback time for everyone who posted, and I have 5 works from people. Maybe the first time in the history of mini painting that happened. I'm actually pretty sure that is very unique occasion. Because I had some women before, but it wasn't this big amount, let's call it like that, big number. Guys, give me a second. Okay, so I'm setting the chat aside for a bit. Sorry, give me a second to wrap my head around my Photoshop, which gets kinda problematic right now, of course, because why not? Okay, should be fine, or at least better right now. And okay, so this is my Photoshop. This is the owl painted by Ali, and he repainted his owl a lot. This one is the one from him, and as you can see, he repainted almost everything, and he also changed the heads. And my like the most feedback I have for Ali was to gradually increase the lightness of reflections the higher you go. So basically over here, because these areas over here are facing the light source more, those areas were supposed to be lighter than the areas that are lower on the bust. So I would take a little bit of I don't know, let's call it like again violet, because it's a very universal color. I would add more shadows in over here, like more shadows, more depth in the painting by adding darker reflections on the bottom and keeping the lightest reflections on the top. Something like that even. And so keeping the bottom of the painting a little bit more darker creates the vignette effect I really like to use in my painting, and closes a little bit like this, you know, the shape of the bust. Also, it like kind of in a very dramatization, in very dramatic way, it shows that this over here is reflecting a little bit more than this over here. I really like how Ali handled the owl head. It's very original and very interesting. The texture is very, very nice, and the eyes are nice as well. It's very interesting to look at them. And the gems are very, very nice. The golden non-metallic metal is pretty cool. With the golden non-metallic metal, I think that the shape of the reflection could be changed a little bit, because this is round and like this kind of, if you would turn this medallion, turn around, it would be this kind of shape. So I think I would personally choose to do this kind of reflections, so rounder ones, to reflect the shape. This is like Ali painted those medallions in, first of all, consistent way, so the shape doesn't bring attention that much, like the maybe not optimal shape doesn't bring attention that much for it, like being not totally optimal. And you know, sometimes there is the case of artistic individual interpretation, and it's totally okay to paint some shapes like maybe in not very optimal way when it goes to a realism. So I can agree on that. I personally would do something like this, just to follow the shape of the miniature. Yeah, the eyes look very, very good of the owl, and the texture of the skin is very, very nice. I prefer to demonstrate my owl as very like blurry and very undetailed feathers, because feathers are very flat, so they may show a lot of texture, or they may not show any texture. You can actually decide how much texture you want to put into the owl head. I personally choose to paint them in not very contrasted way or any detailed way. Also, for the reflections, I would add stronger light reflection over here. And maybe bigger edge highlight over here. I'm overpainting with my mouse today, so it's gonna be wonky a little bit. Other than that, I really like and maybe some smaller reflections here and there. Other than that, I really like the golds over here. The next point for this one is that the owl over here, this is a perfect place to opportunity to create a reflection of the cloak in the armor. So my advice for everyone was to paint a strip of the cloak color over here, contrasted with a darker color. So I would bring it into this painting in this way. So something like that. Okay, and let's divide that from the cloak by this shape, just to show it in very barbaric way to show it. And I was telling people that with the non-metallic metal, the way to go with creating the reflections is to create gradients and then divide them. So right now over here we have one line of gradient. So we start with a darker color, then we go into slightly lighter color, then we go into more light color, and then a little bit back over here into darker color, and then again like this line over here. So my advice would be for this area over here, because this is a big flat area and you can fit something more over there, is to take this line of gradient and divide it over here with one more stripe of darkness. So I would create a line of darker reflection over here, or maybe something like that, to make it more complex and more interesting and more contrasted again. And then because we got darker area over here, we can take the golden color and put it over here, and it will be nice and visible. Actually, it could be more brown because this is a little bit too fair. Something like that, and maybe over here. And then because we got the reflections of red, we can also put the reflection of red into the gold if we are going into the red reflections. So something like that. And we have the line of reflection over here, but also we should add some reflections over here under the collar of the armor. So I would go into much darker color, and where there is darkness on this surface I would keep it light, and where there is lightness on this surface I would put it in dark over here. Because this is another way to catch some contrasts in the painting, creating this checkerboard of light and dark. So basically, if you are trying to come up with the idea how to paint some area with the reflections, just go with the idea of the checkerboard. If you have darkness in the surfacing area somewhere, paint it light, and opposite. And then I would darken this area over here like a lot. Something like that, maybe even darker over here. And yeah, and I would do on the top, on this area over here, the same thing. And in general, I think that I did well with overpainting this area over here. I like the previous version as well, like this one. I actually like this version a little bit more because it was more organic and less symmetrical. So I would maybe take a little bit of this area over here and maybe move it slightly. And like my way of thinking is that we have those lines of highlights running from top to bottom, and actually because this surface is in theory divided by the line over here, So in theory, we have two surfaces of non-metallic metal plates placed like very near, but in reality the surface is one, because this is one shared angle, and there's only a line of division that is not changing the angle of the plates. So I would treat the whole plate as this whole armor as one plate, one surface, one shape. The surface has been the death of me when I was working on it. Yeah, I kind of did it tricky, like on purpose, because I wanted to show people that this area over here and this area over here is one area that should have shared highlights. So this highlight should be continued over here, and then those highlights over here should be kind of continued over here, but the highlights over here should be darker than the highlights over here, or highlights, by highlights I mean reflections, because in reflective surfaces there are light reflections and dark reflections, and there are no highlights and shadows, basically. At least this is how I see it. And so yeah, I would highlight it over here, but maybe not as stark, because I have my brush is too strong. Let me dim it a little bit. So I would create like this reflection over here. Now it's too dark. And I would kind of try to angle it a little bit more, because right now it's just too not vertical, but vertical. It's too vertical for me. I would like it to be more angled. So if I would move it a little bit in this direction, then it would be like this, and then this angle over here could be more angled in a way. So I would create more darkness over here and push the highlight more over here, like sliding in this angled way. And also make this reflection over here slightly darker. This is too light. And then trying to respect the lines of darker reflections, like going like this. This may look chaotic right now because I'm overpainting most of this. But if it was to be like perfect in my opinion, I would do it this way. But I don't want Ali to repaint the whole breastplate, I just wanted to say. I just want to show how I would do it, because this was the way I instructed him on the workshop before. So something like that, more of this way. I would go in this direction, just making this over here darker. So as well, like I can just make it lighter over here. Something like that. I would personally go for this, and I would create a darker surface over here, and then I could, in the darker area, I could place the reflection from the gold over here. So I would go there, also reflection from gold over here. It's slightly different. More angled, and when the reflections are more angled, they reflect more of the reality, because in theory, when we have like the light source over something, then the reflections would go like perfectly flat, right? Or I don't know, maybe like that. But this is only a theory that would exist somewhere in like laboratory conditions. In reality, all of the surfaces are kind of angled at some point when it comes to the placement of the light. So placing your reflections more angled and more uneven. So for example, when you want to create the gradient, don't do this kind of highlights. Try to do them like that. So broader when they are facing the placement of the highlight, and thinner when it goes to the darker areas. And the same stuff goes for the darker areas. So where there is a darkness, the darker lines should be broader, and you know, the lighter lines should be thinner. So something like that. This placement, going back, this placement is not bad. For a quick fix, I would basically, oops. Okay, because I created alternative reality with this layer over here, so I just need one more layer. I would put a reflection over here to keep the lines of reflections in line, basically. So yeah, over here again on the arm plate or shoulder plate, this is the case of it having one gradient from light to dark, and to, let's call it, fix it, I would again take this darker area and just put a lighter reflection in the middle of it, something like that. And this way, this is the easiest way to create contrast and like interest. Just make a one layer of gradient and just put one more layer of highlight somewhere in between to divide this layer of the gradient of highlights or light reflections. And then you can go for a darker color. You're actually missing a darker color over here. So I would go for a darker color and, I don't know, maybe add more darkness over here, just to contrast everything, and maybe a little bit here because it's kind of more far away from the source of lighting, and then I would maybe add one more reflection over here, something like that. Here we have a line of edge highlight. I wouldn't do it because usually the edges that catch light and are edge highlights are the edges that are facing the source of light, and source of light in this direction, in this case, is somewhere over here. So this kind of edges should catch more light, so I would actually edge highlight over here and over here, and not the surface that is facing down. So I wouldn't paint this edge highlight over here, just remove it. Let it be a natural continuation of the highlight that you placed before. And this is pretty nice. I've painted a darker like reflection over here, so I would continue it over here, but then we have the same continuation of the shapes going down, so it's okay. And you know, this is not much actually, but just like, you know, sometimes when you don't know what to do, just add one more line somewhere in the middle. Be obvious with it, just one more line, lighter or darker. I like to create like a place more darker, because you know, usually like the case is that the work is too light, so it misses some darkness. So I like to add like darker colors somewhere. Explaining 3D space and direction into the, yeah, exactly, this is the issue, right? But you know, somewhere over here, the direction, actually the direction of edge highlights is pretty simple. The issue with edge highlights is that games workshops teach people to highlight this way, edge highlight this way, like edge highlight every area all around the shape, no matter the direction, no matter you know, the lighting situation, just to paint like this line of highlight all around. And this is completely you know, incorrect. And I actually can see that people who originated in painting Warhammer tend to repeat this error all the time, and people who come from either, you know, more organic entry into miniature painting as a art, or have some kind of artistic background and they started painting miniatures, they don't do that error that often. So yeah, the edge highlights are a bane of my explanations because this is the error that repeats all the time, in particular for people that originated in Warhammer. And that's why I like to say to people that tutorials, in particular for painting Space Marines or something like that, are usually useless. And I invite people to use references instead of tutorials, because reference makes you understand the topic you want to paint and makes you understand what you want to paint, and tutorial is like fake list of stuff you need to do to achieve the same effect someone else already did. Okay, so something like that. This is the perfect version for, in my opinion, but also you can simplify it by just adding this reflection over here. But you can see the difference, right? How much more interesting and natural it's over here when it's more angled than when it goes to just, vertical lines. And also differentiating, making the highlight broader over here and thinner over here. Same goes over here. So they are not only Jesus Christ, why doesn't it work? They are not only placed like that when it goes to a surface, but they are placed more like that actually. Oh, let me fix it. More like that. Something like this. So angle everything and make a checkerboard, but not geometrically even. So yeah, this is Ali. When I was getting into mini painting, every beginner video I could find was the Warhammer style, which is fine, especially if you are just trying to paint game pieces, but not if you want to make art. Yeah, exactly. And paint wherever you want. As I said before, I told people to do the approach they just want to work with, but basically Warhammer is the one source of knowledge that was most prevalent for a lot of people, and this actually taught a lot of people to make a lot of mistakes when it goes to more logical painting. So I don't personally approve of the Warhammer tutorials, because this is actually a tutorial that is not a way to understand a subject. This is the recipe to get some kind of outcome. And I prefer when people understand something and they don't want to get a recipe. And again, getting the recipe is okay if you want to get one kind of painting that you need for your wargaming. But people like that don't come to me for advices, right? It should have an edge, though, right, for readability, but so all of the same value. Where edge? Sorry, I missed the comment. Recipe, right? Because receipt and receipt, they are kind of visually the same, and it's hard for me to remember that a recipe is something that different. Oh, sorry. I think learning and developing muscle memory to the base dry brush was actually set me back personally. I'm a native speaker and can't spell them and mess them up. They're dumb words. English is very hard sometimes. Would you like a recipe with that? Yeah, please. Okay, so the edges, the shape doesn't need to have edge highlights all around, actually, because this is a very small object we are painting, right? Because it's very, very tiny in reality. We are painting a miniature, so in theory, if we have a object that is, let's call it like that, right? if we have the object and the source of light is over here, so we would have to, in reality, there is the source of light that gives the strongest reflections. So the edge highlights would be the strongest over here and a little bit over here. And then we have the reflected light. So it would go here, and I don't know, somewhere over here, and even here. So the edges over here would get a highlight as well, but the highlight would be very, very thin and very, very slight. So for miniature painting, sometimes this kind of detail is too small to paint it on miniature. So for generalization, I usually advise people to not paint the edge highlights on the bottom of stuff or on the opposite side of light source. But if there was, for example, a cell over here, then edge highlight should be over here, because we would have something, some kind of source of light casting very strong reflections. And edge highlights catch very strong reflections, actually, because they are edges. They are very small, very thin, but very intense. So if we would have like another source of light, or for example, if there was a surface in red, like over here, we can add edge highlight, for example, over here in red, and that would be totally legit, totally okay. Or even over here. Yeah, but I wouldn't add the usual edge highlights like under it, because in real life they are very, very slight and not very visible. Okay. So this is feedback for Ali. One more layer I would add is to make the base colors and highlights more contrasted and more colorful. So you can see over here, when I will pick up the color, it's very, very gray. It has almost no information about the color, so it's a little bit of blue, but not very much. I personally prefer to go for more saturated base colors, so for the base color I would go for something like this, actually. So it would have more color information. So something like that. And this is, this is still gray, but it's more blue, and it contrasts more with the very slightly yellow highlights. So I would advise just put more colors into your non-metallic metal, because this way you show more of the reflections, more interest, more contrasts, stuff like that. Okay, we have top tier jokes in the chat. Someone asked me if I wanted a frozen banana. I said no, but I want a regular banana later. So yes. Thank you, good job. Mitch, is it the oh no, it was Lemmy, right? The Scottish comedian. Yeah. So this is feedback for Ali. I need to flatten the image. And yeah, this is actually pretty good attempt. I really like the head, and the cloak is very simple, but it's well painted, and everything is pretty nice. The head, I think that you can see like the most dedication over there, and I would personally not. I recommend people to not repaint completely the stuff they painted on workshops, honestly, because even if you don't like it, try to fix it a little bit at home, and then finish the project, have it done, start something new, and then try to apply the new knowledge. I personally don't like when people repaint everything, but big props. I think that you actually kinda improved, because this was a good attempt, but you just need to go deeper into the contrast, into the intensity of the highlights, stuff like that. Yeah, so another one. Don't know this image, sorry guys. This one is from Kasia, and she wrote a message. Let me translate it. After the workshop, she mostly focused on painting the golden necklace, or the medallions, whatever, the stones and the head, which is not finished yet. She didn't paint that much of the cloak because she wanted to do something cool with it, and she didn't have the idea for it. She tried to paint a hole over there, but it didn't come out nicely, so she repainted it. She's considering painting a texture or a design over there. Okay, so, and do we have Kasia's work after the workshop? Which one was it? Where is Kasia's work? This one. This is Kasia's work. Over here, I can see that the owl head got definitely an improvement. Yeah, the stones are very, very nice. I like how the feathers turn out, because the feathers just repeat the color from the cloak. And no, it shows that they belong in the painting. And they just create some kind of interesting point over there. And I think that they work nicely with these reflections in the gold. Which is kind of not very realistic, but it's very nice stylistic choice, and I like it. Yeah, the battle damage is very, very cool, and actually battle damage is very, very easy to paint, because you just need to paint a nice line, and then paint a nice line which is thinner on the ends, so thicker over here. And then just take a nice light color and paint a edge highlight under it. And by creating thicker and thinner lines on the edge highlight, you show the irregularity on the damage. So something like that. Yeah, it's very, very easy to paint, but gives a very nice effect. So pretty cool. Do I have my tea? I have my tea. Sebastian says, I'm so bad at painting clean lines, so my battle damage never looks that good. You just need a nice brush, and do not like stick a lot of the brush. Don't stick the brush like very strongly into the surface. Just like kind of, you know, just like lick with the brush, and it creates like this nice texture, very, very thin lines. I like this owl very much. It's very cool because we have very strong contrasts, and the eyes are actually a little bit deeper than the gold, because we have more orange in the eyes, and the eyes also are reflecting a little bit of this purple reflection, and everything works very, very nicely together. So very cool owl. I like it. The texture on the head is very, very nice as well. I like the shapes of those feathers over here. Very cool. I think just to clean it a little bit more, and this is, you know, nitpicking, I would paint it over here just to make this lighter line disappear. So something like that. And this line is invisible on the other eye, so this would be a nice cleanup. I really like the reflections. They look like a window or something like that. So its eyes are very, very deep. if you want, like let's call it the issue. If it was the, you know, preferred way to paint it and you planned it, so if Kasia planned it, it would be totally okay. So the eyes are looking a little bit like that. So it has a cross eye that goes like outside, and you know, cross eyes is totally fine, but it's also something that brings a lot of attention to the eyes and makes people wonder often if it's, you know, on purpose or if it's random. So if you wanted to paint the owl looking a little bit like outside, it's totally fine, you got the effect. But if you would like to the owl to have more directed gaze, you can just paint slightly more darkness in the middle of both eyes, and that would make it more even. And you don't have to repaint anything else, just add a little bit more darkness in one direction and it's totally fine. But nevertheless, the eyes are very, very nicely painted and I like them a lot. I wouldn't actually change the head, I think. I really like it. You could maybe add stronger highlight on the tip of the beak, but it's not needed like actually that much. This is just, you know, if you want to put something more over there, you could paint the highlight and make it the beak really, really shiny. A very cool head. I like that the head balances the armor, and on the one hand it balances the armor, but on the other hand it works so nicely with the other parts of the painting. Very well done, I like it a lot. The play between hard and soft edges in the reflection in the pupils. Yes, exactly, like this blend over here works so nice with this hard edges over here. I really enjoy it. The eyes do look like they're not looking at the same place, or it's just me. Yeah, they don't look like it, but you know, if it was intended, then it's totally fine. If it's kind of random, you can like fix it by painting a bit of darkness in the middle areas. Yes, Sebastian, gentle and wiggly area lines. Wiggly lines show that it's more irregular, and slashes would create the effect of it being a slash, basically, right? So it depends what texture you want to achieve. For this bust over here, what I would do is I would create more depth in this golden medallions, because they are very perfect when compared to the armor over here. And the armor, it's creates this illusion of not being very, very shiny, because it's not like the contrasts are not optimized. So if the darker areas were darker, and they would have more darker, and they would have more contrast, so they would be, for example, like in this more magenta color, and like make it multiply. Okay, this is too much, a little bit, sorry guys. If the darker areas were darker, basically, and there were more of them, then the armor would look like it's more shiny. And because there are not that many darker areas and it's less contrasted, then it looks like it's more I don't know, like less shiny, basically. So and it has a lot of battle damage, so it looks nice. It calculates, like it checks out, so I would keep it. Also, you could add like more highlights here and there, just reflections. Dots, I recommend to paint dots everywhere if you want to create more reflections. But we are not doing that because I actually like this armor a lot, and I think that this is very good interpretation of it. What I would change is to change a little bit of this non-metallic metal. So I would put a darker color. Violet is usually very good, but we will see how it turns out. And I would add more darker reflections. Actually, those reflections that are over here I'm kind of overpainting these nice blue reflections, but it's hard to keep them right now. So I would add darker reflections, and not only, you know, this one line, but also a dots here and there, like a dots here and there. Okay, we got the ad break, so a break in the feedback. Hey Malta, thank you for coming. I will get back in a second. I will just grab something to drink, guys. I have a kitty. He was sleeping just next to me, so I just grabbed him because he's so sweet. Yeah, hi Lucky. Hello. He's very, very sweet, and also he was very mischievous on the workshop, because I did the last workshops at my house and in my kitchen, because I have very, very big like dining place which is joined to the kitchen. So Loki likes to invade my workshop space. But actually I think that people need a break from time to time, so Loki is just, you know, doing some breaks for them. Exactly, I haven't any other expectations towards him. The name was kinda randomly perfect for him, right? Okay, 28 seconds more. Lucky, do you want to show again? No. I have this beautiful sign of Awesome Creations, because we finally got some stuff for our stand. And the first stand was at Bamble Miniature Cup, and I can finally show this beautiful stand for Awesome Creations. Yeah, and I had to work a lot of Awesome, and it took a lot of time. That's why I wasn't streaming before. Okay, we are after the break, so going back to the feedback. I would create like those darker reflections on the medallion. Also adding more brown over here and there to just deepen everything. Also over here. Again, creating more lines, right? Because one gradient is kind of boring, and why do one gradient when you can do more gradients? So something like that. Also, next to the reflections, make it darker. What more? There are some areas where you can clean the painting a little bit more. And for example, this one over here. Clean it. Paint the dark lining and just, you know, create the how to call it, separation between those two areas. And I think that over here the same stuff, but in general this is painted to a nice finish. If you want to work on something, you can work on blending, for example, the cloak, which is not finished, right? But in general, some blending, like if you would want to make a nicer finish, you can try to blend, for example, some of the areas on the on the armor. So for example, like over here and over here, you can see that the layer of paint is inconsistent. So you can try to clean it up if you really care about having the very, very clean end effect. But you don't have to do it because in general it matches. Oh, over here is a nice, very little place to do the cleanup. Those are like very small details, but also this is very nicely painted. So I don't have that much more like stronger feedback, but like kind of nitpicking that would elevate the painting even more. Hey Petraxus. Hey. So yeah, this is the feedback for this one, and this one is very, very nice, and you can see that there is a lot of more color. I think that the photo is a little bit too yellow, but in general you can see that there is a lot of blue in the base color of this armor. This is kind of more yellow, even though this photo is yellow, but in reality it's more yellow, the highlight over here. Here we have nice kind of reddish reflections, and I like it a lot. I think that this is very interesting painting and very well done. You can try, and actually I'm not even commenting on the gems because they are done very, very nicely as well. They are very shiny, very reflective. And for the cloak, I think that you don't need to overdo it. Just even painting it as a flat surface, but with some, even dotting as a texture would be fine. If you decide to do a nicer design, it would be totally okay, but it really depends on what you want to do with this one, how much more time you want to spend on it, because already the owl has very nice texture in its head and also in these feathers over here. So this is already very full, very beautiful painting, and it will balance even without any more very strong textures on the cloak. Petrax was already blocked on Twitch. You mean someone took the name for you? It sometimes happens. Okay, let's save it. Also, I will be uploading those pictures later on my Discord, and I will send them via email to the owners. Let's call it like that. Okay, we got Ali, we got Kasia. We are going to Kinga. Kinga gave me a note. She's not entirely sure if the color of the head matches to the rest of the painting. And she wants to finish the non-metallic metal on the back pin. And she's not sure how much it should be shiny because it's in the back. So I think that the color of the owl head, it depends honestly, because the brows may be lighter and it's totally fine. It will the brows will just take the attention from the necklace, and the thing with this painting is that there is a lot of going on because she has slight lighting from this side of the painting, slight lighting from the side of the painting, and it makes this this composition already a lot. You can keep the light brows, but I wouldn't add very strong texture to it. Honestly, I would just choose to paint it more smooth, more flat, without strong texture, just to not over detail the whole painting. Because when you have too many busy areas in the painting, it just becomes too much and it's hard to focus on one key composition area and then just to make the eye jump around the miniature. If you have too many strong ideas in one painting, you just the viewer doesn't know how to focus the attention. And usually, if you want the painting to look pleasant to other people and be attractive, you want to guide the viewer's gaze through the painting. So with balancing out the detailing, you are basically helping the viewer to like understand more easily what is going on. Very brave color choices though. Yeah, they are very, very brave. I like them a lot. I also think that this brown over here, like it kind of matches with this purplish red cloak. So I think that the colors over here are pretty cool. They are also very contrasting because we have magenta over here, or very strong pinks over here, and we have very saturated pastel yellow over here, and yellow contrasts this pink. So I think that this is actually a nice choice. I just would keep it not very textured. And also it looks interesting as a color. You saw Loki over there on my face cam. Also, I think that it's very interesting because I haven't seen this kind of like colors on any realistic owls, and I actually enjoy the thought of people designing their own like kind of realistic but not really owl like how to call it, owl markings. Yeah, Loki, this is mine. So I would keep those colors on the head. I would just clean them a little bit more and maybe add some highlights, add some shadows, but don't overbear the painting with too much texture there. I think that if I remember correctly, this eye was supposed to be blind, and I think that in general this goes well, but maybe you could add like this outline of the iris, just slight like let's call it like shadow, and maybe more white over here. I don't know, something like that. Without this texture, it's alright as well, but I think that adding like the same shapes in the eye would maybe make it more understandable that it's finished and it's painted. But you don't really have to do it. With the armor, it's pretty, like when it goes to blending, it's pretty sketchy, but I really like the placement of the areas of the light and darker reflections. So if you want to finish it like to a higher finish, you can work on blending a little bit more. But if you don't care about the blending, if you don't want to practice it, you don't need to go into blending. The values are nice, the placement of different areas is nice. I would maybe make this reflection over here slightly darker and this reflection over here slightly lighter to bring the order into this painting, because the reflections that are placed closer to the source of lighting should be lighter. And in this case, this highlight over here was kind of lighter than this highlight over here, so I will just make it slightly darker. So something like that. Very slight difference, but I just like to put it in order like that. And maybe this reflection over here a little bit bigger. I don't know, something like that, because it's higher, so it should be a little bit lighter, and then also it matches more this the width of this darker reflection over here. So yeah, something like that. what more? I like the this over here, this bump, let's call it like that. I like it, but this one over here, I think that no, it has the wrong placement of the edge highlight, because the edge highlight is on top of the scratch, and it should be on the bottom. So I would try to put in order the edge highlights under the stuff like that. See, the same stuff goes over here. The edge highlight is on the top where it should be on the bottom, because we have the source of light is going from over here. Same over here. The edge highlights are on the wrong side, in the wrong direction. In the metallics, again, the same issue as with Kasia, right? I would add more reflections, but over here I actually like the values more over here. I wouldn't like change the shape. I would just add more dots of highlights or lighter reflection and darker reflections to make it like more organic and more interesting. So something like that. And I was discussing my choices when it goes to placing the reflections and stuff like that, light and dark reflections, so I hope that it's understandable for my students. I'm not explaining exactly everything right now because it would be too long for the stream. And I would maybe deepen the reflections over here, just so the reflections closer to the bottom would be darker, and also it would create more contrast in the gold. So something like that. So again, I basically took a darker color and created a line of reflections, but it wasn't like complete line because it was more of like dotted line. So see, darker, lighter, darker, and before it was like only from the light to the dark. So sometimes you can create like this checkerboard by creating layers of dots, and the dots usually look more organic than actually a line, so I'm very up for the dots. With the medallion on the back, I think that I would make the reflection a little bit higher, so over here, and this is enough of the highlight, I think. I would blend it out slightly more, and then I would just paint one layer of darker reflection over here, but keeping the small line of lighter color over there. So you know, in theory I could just paint the darkness over here, because it's the shadow, the bottom of the round space should be in the darkness, but actually when I'm keeping a little bit of lighter area on the bottom, I'm creating light, dark, light areas instead of just light and dark. So I'm keeping this little bit of lighter area over here, and I'm creating the reflected edge highlight actually, because this is a rounder surface, and round surfaces catch the reflected light from the surrounding, and the bounced light usually gathers underneath the round surfaces on the bottom. So this is it, something like that. So for the round portion of the material, I would keep it like that, and then I would add just one more line of reflections over here and here, just some dots, making it more interesting. See the difference? Like those are just only 2 dots, but see how different it is. It's much more shiny, like instantly. Also, because we have the purple cloak over here, this area over here is kinda more up when it comes to the cloak, but you can cheat a little bit and just add the reflection like that over here. And in the back, over here, we have a lot of darkness going around. So you can just take a brown, for example, or whatever color you would like to show it there, and just make a line to make it more busy. And you know, it's a bug, so nobody cares that much about it, unless you are going to, I don't know, Monte San Savino or something, and you can do something like that. And this brown will show that there is, I don't know, some kind of dirt in the back, or I know, ground, something like this. So you can just put a not very obvious color in the back to show more of the reflections. So yeah, this is it. This very nicely painted one. It's not very blended, but also not everything needs to be blended to look nice. Loki, please do not sit on my keyboard. Yeah, so this is it. Actually, not that much feedback. I think that there could be a little bit more of the cleanup. So, for example, over here, I would paint a black lining, so darker line, to clean it up a little bit more, and this will make everything more tidy. Very small change, but makes the difference when the colors are not bleeding unnecessarily in between the areas. So yeah, adding more reflections, clean, like if you really want, you can blend a little bit, but if you don't want to, don't. Paint more of the owl head, but do not add too much texture. And then the scratches should have edge highlights on the bottom and not on the top crevices. Oh, and also there's one more thing I wanted to add. There is this source of lighting that is green and is reflecting from the other direction. It should be reflecting more over here in those medallions, in my opinion. So something like that, something like that, something like that. You can keep it like this over here. And yeah, I think that maybe to show the stronger contrast between the light sources, maybe those ends over here could be slightly darker, but this is it. Basically, I wouldn't change a lot. Oh, and actually, this is the good condition to paint the edge highlights over here. Not even over here, but on the other underside of the plates. So something like that, and then over here. So if you want, this is the good scenario for painting the edge highlights, right? Something like that. And this is it. I like this eye over here. It's pretty interesting. It matches the rest of the painting. Good job. I'm saving it. Guys, do you have any questions? Yeah, sorry for not having very lively chat today, but I think that this stream is better when I can focus on the job. Okay, saving this one. I think we're mostly watching and listening. Cool. Did I save it? Yeah, I saved it. Okay, so I can close it. Next one. Another one. Kinga Margaret. I didn't speak for a longer time. I actually spoke a lot yesterday. I don't know, but maybe it's the language difference because my throat really hurts today. Okay, so Margaret, my version of Night Feather started during Natalia's workshop in Cracow. I worked a little bit on his cloak, yeah, a little bit. Reflections in his armor and jewels. Looking forward for your feedback. Okay, so this version of very nice painting, like first, I will just say that very nice. I like the difference between the textures, and those are actually the head and the cloak are very graphical because they are both black and white basically. But they have different textures, so they are both very busy but in different ways, and I think that they work very nice, and this is very nice way to bring more attention to the head and to the cloak, and pull the attention away from the armor, which actually has stronger colors but is just not as graphically intense as the head and the cloak. So very cool version, I like it a lot, I enjoy it a lot. And very brave, because I remember that you had some doubts if you should go for the checkerboard, and it really checks out. They did a cool job shaping the necklace. Yeah, exactly, and the necklace is also very cool. I think that one thing the necklace, because the necklace is supposed to be the kind of gem that lets the light into it, so in the middle, and then shines on the other end. So the strongest lighting point should be over here. I would just make it more round, I think. In general, all of the placements, everything is very nice, it's okay. But I think that the reflections and the effect of the lighting should be a little bit rounder and a little bit bigger, so something like that. And then more red, of course, because I saturated it. It's hard to paint it in Photoshop, honestly, but it should be, in my opinion at least, it should be something like that. And then the strongest lighting situation over here, and then the light just jumping out of the medallion would be concentrating over here and over here. Talking about the medallions and the light, I would add reflections over here and over here, because if there is a lot of lighting coming from the medallion, it should be showing in the reflections of the non-metallic metal. And then to underline those reflections, I would add stronger, darker reflections in the medallion to create more contrast. And I think that it could use a black lining over here just to show the difference between those two areas. And also this reflection over here could be a little bit more round. Sorry guys if I am not complimenting too much of those paintings, but I spoke with those people, with the authors before, and my job over here is to give feedback today, and this is the kind of feedback like where should I work more. So I'm focusing on the areas that require a little bit more painting, and I'm maybe spending less time on complimenting the areas that are done well, because you can see that they are done well. They don't have to work on them anymore. Oh wait, it's 2 volumes, it's sculpted as a gem with the ring, it's not just a round sphere. Yeah, exactly, and this is actually just a round sphere, but I like when you look at it, let me just quickly jump into the camera over here. When you look at it, this is flat. I don't know how much can I zoom without losing the focus, but you can see over here, like this is up and this is a little bit lower. So this is designed as a medallion with a gem inside, and this is just a flat medallion. So you can paint it as a golden sphere, or you can paint it as a just add a rim over here and paint it as a gem. Margaret painted it without the frame. But you can interpret it as however you want it, because I just wanted to, let people do whatever they want over there. Okay, so going back to the feedback, I really like the reflection of the cloak over here. It works very, very nicely and it's very, very cool. And for the non-metallic, the gold is fine. I like it. You could add some round reflections just to bring more diversity and interest. So something like that maybe. And I don't know, like maybe over here a little bit of dots. But it's very, very nice. I like it. Oh, sorry, I didn't change it over here. Yeah, so I just added some dots over here in the non-metallic metal. You can see the difference. Yeah, sorry guys, I missed it. So the only thing you missed were the placement of those dots over here. So something like that, and I like the gold as this is pretty fine, and it's the example of more shiny material. And then we have the armor, which is smoother. It's much like blended much better, I think. And it's totally okay because you can have the two types of metal that have different properties in one painting, and they are actually contrasting itself with the texture, because texture is another layer of contrast you can get in your painting. So I would keep this as it is because it's pretty cool. You can take to add more interest, you can just again take a light color and just add some dots. I would add some dots maybe to, you know, create like this more organic look, but not too many, to not lose the finish we got right now. And dots may be bright but light, but they also may be dark. This is very important actually. So just add some dots here and there to create like more organic feel to it, but I wouldn't change anything else. And you can see the difference with the dots and without the dots. Because actually in the metals, usually when there are some, you know, you would have the perfect gradient only in the situation when it would be a studio with the perfectly white walls, stuff like that. You wouldn't see any of like those dotted or like an irregular, Loki, please go away, of those dotted or irregular reflections. And if the character is supposed to stand in like a normal room, normal environment, you would have those like little detailing like here and there. So those dots, in my opinion, are meant to represent that. For the eye, I really like the eyes, but I think that they could be like a little bit blended out. So this is nitpicking. You don't need to change anything, but I would personally kind of blend those reflections out a little bit and make the middle of the reflections the whitest. So something like that maybe. And then I would create like this reflection effect. So add like this kind of, let's call it like a, I don't know, line of darkness over here. Usually it should go like that actually. I will maybe paint it with light, like it should go like that because the eyes are round. But I do, to make it simple, I'm just creating like those two dots over here. And I would take a light color and maybe try to add the reflection from the underside to show that they are reflecting, I know, to make them more organic. Maybe I overdid it a little bit, but I would go in like direction of that because the eyes are very, very big, and just to not make them too flat. See, and like I just adding more dots, guys, blending something out, adding more dots. This is like the whole situation I would create over here. And other than that, I don't have any kind of comment. I think this is very, very nicely painted. I really like this version. I like the textures, I like the points of interest. It's very original in my opinion because I haven't seen a version with this kind of textures correlation. Hey Ali, nice to see you here. And yeah, if you have any questions for this one, please ask. But that one, I think that was actually a very quick one, and very nice one. I mean, others were nice as well, but I think that this one is the most painted of all of them, like so far. We got Margaret, and now Paweł turn, and Paweł did something I don't know, very, very creative. In my opinion, where are the colors? Balance colorów. This. In my opinion, it's slightly too red, so I will try to something like that. If I remember correctly, this is more realistic colors. And Paweł did a very crazy interpretation of the owl. And he said, almost done, some minor fixes on the non-metallic metal elements and crystals on the back. I love this model, it gives endless possibilities. I'm very happy to hear that, and also Paweł showed that it really gives endless possibilities, as you can see over here. And he did the craziest painting I've seen so far on this owl, because everything is shimmery, everything is changing. This is the amounts of dots I'm very proud of. And he did very, very well. The eyes are very striking in this one. This is the owl you see that guides you through the woods when you eat the wrong mushrooms. Yeah, exactly. When you see those eyes, you know that something is going to happen. See, on these medallions, he created those swirls, and in theory, you can see that he just went overboard with the shapes, because he is not completely he's completely ignoring the original shape of the medallion. And you can see he created those dots over here in between the swirls to represent the links in between the elements of the medallion. And I actually on purpose decided to omit the links between the medallions, because I decided that this is the detail that is not important in painting, and that this painting doesn't need it. If someone will like to have those links, it's very easy to add them, and and it works even when you will just overpaint it, as you can see. So yeah, this is very interesting version of it. I really like the gem by the feather. Yeah, it's very, very cool. Oh shit, sorry guys. It's very, very cool because he managed to add a lot of texture over there. And a lot of reflections, so I like it a lot because it's very, very rich. And I know if honestly I don't have that much feedback for this one, because it has very strong artistic direction and it's hard to comment on that. If you would like to work more on the finish of it, I would work more on this medallion over here. Because you can see that, for example, over here it's more sketched than some other areas of this bust. But in general, I wouldn't work a lot on this one, because I think that it has the right amount of finish when it goes to this technique and to this artistic vibe. Let's call it like that. You mean right mushrooms? Yeah, only the right mushrooms. I like the feather, and I don't know, in theory it's very chaotic painting, because it has a lot of textures, a lot of colors, but it works because Paweł repeated the same colors all over again through all of the textures. So on the one hand it's kind of chaotic, but on the other hand, because he was consistent through this painting, it works very nicely. In the back of the painting, you can see that he tried to paint a spaceship, so TIE fighter fighting with X-wing. He needs it needs a little bit of work, but you can see that he managed to paint it, the elements so far, so he can finish it. I think that with this one, my only issue is with this medallion over here. I think that it's too smooth and too basic when compared to the everything else on this painting. So first of all, I would maybe kinda, let's call it, fix it when it goes with the darker areas. So again, okay, it's too light. I would just go for simple black because it works for Photoshop. I would just create like this darker area over here, and then I would try to match this gem to this gem, and then it will be perfect. So I don't know, the only 2 pinpoints for this one is to finish this area over here a little bit more, and Pavel knows how to do it, so I don't have to, you know, elaborate, and then match this gem over here and clean up black lining. Match this gem over here to the rest of the painting, in particular this one over here. Oh, and also you could introduce more edge highlights when it goes over here. So something like that, and maybe lighter reflection underneath over here, and lighter highlights again, like over here, just to divide those surfaces a little bit and make it more sharp. Yeah, and this is it. Very nicely painted. I like it a lot. I do not have that much to comment because, you know, it's hard to comment on someone's vision that is very, very strong, and this is very strong over here. Maybe a little bit of cleanup over here. So black lining, poof, just to separate those areas. And yeah, and that's it. Very well done. I like it a lot. Hi everyone, Owl looks a lot better after the Photoshop session. Thank you again. Thank you, Margaret, for posting your job, and you did very, very good work on her. Let me save it. Got it. Okay. And we got one more, Piotr X, right? Thank you for sharing your awesome work. Yeah, it's it's awesome. Okay, so this one is pretty cool as well, and I think that Piotr X, you left the workshop after the 1 day, right? Do I remember correctly? So very well done work on this one. I like the texture in the gems. Yep, you left. Okay, so you handled your painting very well. I like the gems. I like the texture on them. I like how you did with the non-metallic metal. The pictures are kinda blurry to this point of zoom. But depending on what you want to achieve, you can try to blend the areas a little bit. You don't really have to, because the values are okay and this looks very interesting anyway. So you can try to blend a little bit, but only if you want to practice. For the gold, I think that you could achieve stronger. Okay, let me read your message again. Like the cloak is only sketched, and the head needs some more work. Yeah, I agree that that's more or less done, but I don't know. The head is very nice. I like it a lot. I really like the markings on the feathers. They are very, very cool. I haven't seen something like this. Like this darker, rounder area is very, very cool. I would personally add like, let's call it an eyelash for the owl, black line over here, because the black line, it would work with area over here, and also it makes the gaze more interesting and more like, you know, eye-catching. I also think that the direction of the pupils, it's in general it's all right, but it's kind to read that they are that round, so I would like, it's hard to read their shape. I mean that. So I would make them slightly rounder, and this way you can read more easily that he's looking down. Also, like this, his eyes right now look kinda a little bit like strange, because usually when you look down, your not eyelashes but eyelids are following. So usually when you have very open eyes and you are looking down, you know that this is very strange situation because the eyelids are not shutting. So either you need to paint a little bit more of the pupil visible, or you can keep it as it was, but paint the eyelid more closed. So just paint a line like this, and this will make his eyes more like natural, something like that. See, because without that it looks a little bit too intense in my opinion. So either do that or do the just eyelid a little bit lower. Yeah, this owl looks like it spotted a mouse on the ground, like, and the mouse was behaving very badly also. So yeah, this is the feedback for the eyelids, and actually, you know, eyelids, they are, in theory, they are not very important, but in reality, we as humans are trained to read expression on the faces. So we are looking at the faces, trying to evaluate the emotions, stuff like that, because you know, our ancestors, their lives were depending on the level of happiness of the people they were dealing with. So for like our well-being and for our survival, we as humans need to be, you know, very fluent in reading emotions. So actually the eyes, the level of the, you know, closeness of the, like the level of closeness, like how much the eyelids are closed or how the eyes look, it's very important for us, because, you know, it's actually the human relations are very important in our lives. So try to be, you know, try to make the eyes match the situation, and try to make the eyes like match what you want to show with the painting. So if the situation is meant to be dangerous, paint the eyes like, you know, very crazy, very strange. And when the character is meant to be chill and just looking somewhere, try to match the eye chillness to the situation. I think I will try to get better pictures of what I finished between now and Wednesday. Yeah, please do. You mean the elf bust? I've seen the work in progresses and they were pretty cool actually. I like it. I also got my elf mercenary in the post recently, so I'm happy to have him. For the non-metallic metal, I would go with slightly darker reflections, but let me find a nice color. Over here, basically in the middle of everything, I would go with more contrast just to make it more interesting. And over here, I think that the values over here are fine, but those values over here in the bottom, like in the lower area, should be darker. So something like that. Also over here, darker. And over here, this medallion is round, so I would create the highlight more in the round shape. And over here, in general, it's painted all right, but I think that the dark area in the top portion of the feather is a little bit too dark, because this area over here is the closest to the source of light, and it's facing up, so it should catch more light colors. So I would pull the lightness slightly higher. You can leave some of the darkness over here. I overpainted it a little bit too much, but you can leave it, but pull a little bit of the light higher. And then the reflection over here slightly higher, something like that. And you can also add like those organic reflections all around, like those dots, for example, over here, and then darker reflections, so something like this, like that. And see, it kinda reads slightly differently. It reads like this is more like organic and natural, and this was kinda a little bit too dark. Also, so this area over here, it's flat, but it's kinda rounded, so this is actually sitting a little bit like faced more to the source of light than over here. And this reflection wasn't showing that well. So yeah, and I added a little bit of reflections over there. Oops, not that. So I would also like to see more of the reflections over here, but this is actually more, it's round but also flat, so we can focus on we can concentrate on the stronger edge highlight over here. So yeah, but with the golds or a little bit of like bronze colors, you have very nice colors matched. Just a little bit like slight movement of the placement. For the eyes, I would also add those reflections over here and over here, or maybe even here, just to add something into this darker area. And again, you can place the reflected light reflections over here, or you can paint the floor with the little mouse lying over there, so you can show the target of the hate. Yeah, something like that. And see, like those with the reflections, the eyes became much more like deeper and more interesting, and also it's easier to read them, and because before they had very cool texture and they in general look fine, but they are kind of slightly off, just a little bit off. And right now, with a little bit of like the styling up of the idea, they are more readable and they are actually more expressive. I was thinking Sebastian says, I was thinking another very cool idea for the mercenary would be to do his armor to look like pinecone. Oh, this is a very cool idea. You should actually do it. It would work with the tufts very, very well. Over here with the armor, I would make this area slightly darker, just to make the reflection of the blue contrasted a little bit better. So darker over here, and then take the blue from the cloak, make it a little bit stronger, so something like that, and paint it over here. It's a little bit too light, but don't mind that. So something like that, and something like that over here. Make it very intense, because some ideas, on the one hand they are subtle, but on the other hand they are like nice to see, and sometimes when you paint something too subtle, people don't notice it. So I am an advocate for overpainting some stuff, making it more dramatic, but this way like ironically, sometimes the realness of your painting hits people harder. And maybe a little bit darker in the middle of the moon, like over here. I don't know, you could keep the edge highlight over here, but I think that maybe making it gold would be more fitting to show that the gold is reflecting in the silver, because overpainting the whole shape in this edge highlight, as I said before, is not correct. There's also edge highlight running over here. It's not correct, but it's kinda, I know, it kinda matches the whole armor, so I wouldn't replace it. And I like the edge highlight over here, because sometimes when we have the kinda open angle, sometimes the middle of the angle catches some highlights, and we can see then the edge highlights in the middle, where in theory light doesn't reach, and I think that this is nice version of it. This is pretty nice, the shoulder plate. I think that I would maybe try to add more reflections over here to make it more organic, more shiny. You can add only light reflections or light and dark, so something like that. And this reflection over here is pretty cool, but the reflection under it doesn't match the same lines of reflections, so I don't know, I would try to bring it to order and or tidy it up a little bit and keep the line of highlight like this, because it's supposed, like this one is supposed to go like over here, and then maybe add a little bit of highlight over here, and then a darker area in between. So yeah, something like that. I like the medallion over here, and it was supposed to cast a light, a blue OSL. It should be casting a little bit of light on the head as well, and I think that this is the thing that we are missing the most. And maybe one more dot over here. I know it shouldn't get that much light from there, but the back is empty, so you could add something over there. I would make this line also a little bit broader, so something like that, and maybe this line of the cloak as well a little bit broader. So this, yeah, and in the middle of this gem that is supposed to be shining, I would actually put more of the pure color inside, just to make it more visually striking. Yeah, so this is it. I like it a lot. Like the textures on the head, the eyes, they are very interesting. The medallions over here. For the cloak, you said that it's not very painted, but also I've seen that you have the tendency to paint the edge highlights just all around in the shapes, and this kind of suggested that you are trying to follow it over here. Please don't do it on the cloak, because cloak is actually, like, it depends also how reflected the surface of the cloak was supposed to be, but in reality the cloak, the textiles, the clothing, it will catch the highlight only from the top, so we shouldn't have like this area, the underside, highlighted and the top area darker. This area over here should be darker and the top area should be lighter, because top is facing the highlight and like highlight the source of light, and the bottom is not facing the source of light, so it should be the other way around. So the top should be lighter and the bottom should be darker. And always remember that don't highlight the bottom edges, highlight the top when in the situation when the source of light is in the upper area. So something like that. See, it kind of looks more realistic, and this is kind of, I don't know, this is I don't know, painted in a Warhammer way, and this is more realistic. So I would go with that. I like that you are framing the owl with the blues, so we have a nice blue over here, but also in the back. And in general, this is very nice painted, and I like the amount of texture you put into this version. Very cool, very original, and I was wondering how we will handle the rest of the owl after going back home after one day. Yeah, so nicely done. Yeah, so okay, we got the outbreak. So I think that I will be finishing the feedback session. For those, let me just have a look in my Discord. Let me have a look into my Discord. Did someone post more? No, they didn't. Okay, so this is it. I'm pretty impressed with your paintings. Very well done. I really like I know that the topic was to paint the non-metallic metal, but I really like what everyone done with the owl heads, because I'm always impressed by the creativity and what you are showing there. Taking the inspiration in nature and sometimes creating your own textures, stuff like that. I really enjoy it. So yeah, let's save it, and I will post it on Discord later. I will post it in the feedback channel with link to the VOD. So yeah, this is it. I think that I will be finishing this stream pretty soon, because my throat start hurting. I can highlight the finished works on my Discord, which are pretty good. And if you would like to have a longer look into them, you can just join my Discord, and I will maybe post an invitation right now. To my Discord and check out what different people did and how it looks, because it's pretty cool and pretty good. Yeah, this is Minimancer's elf. I honestly think that for the interpretation with the tufts and with your shield, the pinecone armor works the best. And also Maltese Otto was very cool. I like the amount of character he put into this bust. Oh, this one is very cool as well. This bull version of Shiv. You will consider it. Please consider it. Yeah, but if you won't decide on it, then it's fine as well. It's nicely painted anyway. Negative hey or CHA. I like this lizard man. You kept telling me to be more brave with my shadows, so I started painting cast shadows. Very well done. Good approach. I haven't painted casted shadows, I think. This one is very cool, yeah, but I think that the green are too intense. I would tone down the green a little bit, because you have orange over here, and the orange kinda clashes with the green already, and there is the purple that clashes with the orange with the green as well. So I think that I would personally tone down a little bit of the green, but very nice work with the cast shadows. Yeah. Also, it's finished. Okay, so you don't have to change it, but I would do that personally. Pistachio is very strong. It throws off the color balance of the whole picture. Yeah, I agree. Okay, so going back to the feedbacking, I finished doing the feedback to all of the six attendees of my workshops. Very proud of you guys, very well done. I will post the photoshopped images into the feedback channel again. And oh, thank you for the subscribe. Nice to see that. Thank you very much. Yeah, so this is this for today. I will go and take a break because Pavel just brought me new paints and I will be trying to paint with them a little bit. Those are acrylic gouaches from Holbein. This is like more of this artistic brand, and I wanted to start doing more of the 2D painting. So I bought them mostly for this purpose. Like I didn't buy them, Pavel bought them as a present for me. But I'm very interested in trying out painting with them because in my opinion those acrylics are actually acrylics most the closest to the usual paints for miniature painting, and I'm very curious how they will paint in practice. Yeah, so I will probably be doing that. And maybe some miniature painting actually, because I hadn't had time for that in like the past 2 weeks and I don't feel fine with that. So I want to paint a little bit finally. And on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, on Wednesday I'm doing the normal feedback stream, so I will be feedbacking works posted over here. I will be ignoring all of the owls, sorry guys, but you already got the feedback. And there are a few of very interesting works to give my feedback to. So I will be feedbacking this on Wednesday, and the next week I want to do like a normal painting stream because I'm missing it a lot. And yeah, thank you guys very much. It was great to talk to you, and see you next time. Bye 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 bye.